Okay, so next is chapter 3, which is firearms, types and their classification. So the historical development of firearms. So we cannot trace back the history of firearms per se, but then we can trace back the history of gunpowder. So accordingly, ang nagkaroon daw ng early development or early discovery of gunpowder in 13th century in Western Europe. But there are some claims by Arab and Chinese that they are the first one who invented the gunpowder because of their knowledge on the chemists. They are capable of the producing such invention. So this is the chronology of the gunpowder evolution from 1326 to 1494. So yung pinakamahalaga dyan na year is yung the first use, which is 1346 Crisi to cause panic. And then from 1382 to 1420, so talagang dyan na ginagamit talaga yung mga iba't ibang uri ng baril, cannons, portable cannons, the muskets. So yan. So as I mentioned, napakahalaga nung 1346 na day, na year, by Muhammad II of Turkey sa ganun din nung 1453, the famous conquest of Constantinople. But for the record, sabi nga natin madaming ang gumamit ng advantage na paggamit ng baril or paggamit ng gunpowder. So the first firearms as shown in the picture ay medyo malalaki, kailangan ng hilahin ng mga hayop. Kailangan na buhatin ng maraming tao para lang magamit natin sa battlefield. And eventually, paglipas ng maraming panahon, na-discover ang musket, napaliit na ng paliit ang ating mga baril and can be operated by a single person. So these are the ancestors of firearms. So the fire lance or the flamethrower, as I mentioned, 1300s to 1400s, nagkaroon na tayo ng mga portable cannons. 1400s na imbento na yung firelock. 1500s na imbento naman yung matchlock. Yung wheellock naman nung 1500s at yung pinaka mass-produced weapon was in 1700s the invention of flintlock gun. So this video, I will be showing a video with regarding history of modern warfare.
As late as the 16th and 17th century, men still fought like the ancient Greeks. Once inside a phalanx, or pike square, attackers could choose from a grisly range of hardware to butcher their opponents. But first, they had to get past the pikes, face to face, steel to steel. They still didn't have a way of blasting in from a safe distance. One answer to this problem was an unwieldy, handheld gun, the arquebus. Foot soldiers turned to the gun as their weapon of choice. Its transformation from ugly launching tube to finely crafted weapon speaks of the pride with which infantry and cavalry regarded their new weapons. All that was needed was a quick and safe way to fire it. Two rival mechanisms offered a solution: the matchlock and the wheel lock. The matchlock used a fuse to ignite gunpowder in the flash pan. In dry conditions, it worked. Simpler but more expensive was the wheel lock. It used new clockwork technology to strike a spark from a small piece of iron pyrite. More dependable than the matchlock, here was a gun that could be used by cavalry, the first carbine. Simpler still was the flintlock, which struck the vital spark from flint and steel. Simplicity won, and for the next 200 years, pistols and rifles would be fired this way. The gun was coming of age. The gun, like the longbow, could pierce armor, but for accuracy, range, and rate of fire, it was still inferior. The gun had one big advantage over the longbow. The skill and sheer strength needed to draw a bow demanded years of daily practice. A gunner could be trained in weeks. In the early 17th century, a Dutch nobleman, William of Nassau, studied the Roman tacticians. He read how Roman legions kept up a steady rain of javelins on the enemy. Nassau realized that modern soldiers armed with muskets could do the same. All they had to do was rotate their ranks. The principle was simple. Don't aim, just send in a wall of lead.
The air was so darkened by the smoke of the powder that for a quarter of an hour together, I dare say, there was no light seen but what the fire of the volleys of shot gave.
Rapid volley required tight coordination in the heat of battle if muskets were to fire at the same time. Musketeers drilled hard. The faster they could fire, reload, and fire again, the more deadly they were. In 1631, at the Battle of Breitenfeld, the Swedish king Gustavus Adolphus showed the full potential of volley fire. He had drilled his men until they had the fastest reload times ever. In this battle against an army of the Holy Roman Empire, 7,000 lay dead, felled by rapid volley fire, most killed in the first 2 hours.
Okay, so that's the battle, the great battle of William Gustavus or Adolphus Gustavus. So nakakuha siya ng advantage over the rival through the use of firearms. So these are example of firearms na talagang mako-consider natin as one of a kind. So yan. Smith & Wesson 50, for 500, Smith & Wesson XVR 460, Smith & Wesson Model 29 Classic, Magnum Research VFR. And ito yung only pistol na caliber 50. So Desert Eagle caliber 50. Thompson Central Contender G2, Ruger Super Red Hawk, CVA Optima Caliber 50 Black Powder, pa. Ito pang .500 Linbao and Pfeiffer Zaleska .600 Nitro Express. So lahat ng napansin nyo ay revolver. Most of them are revolvers. So yan ang trend ng sa tinatawag natin na pistol and revolvers sa mga handguns. So, timeline na development of firearms. Nabanggit ko na kanina na iti-trace back natin siya through the development of gunpowder. And then, 1350, nag-start yung small arms. 1498, nag-start naman yung riflings. 1575, nagsimula ng maimbento ang cartridge or bala. Yun ang mga 1807, nagkaroon ng percussion system or the primer. So noong 1845, rimfire cartridge yung bala ng caliber 22. 1858, center fire cartridge was also invented. 1884, automatic machine gun by Hiram Maxim. And 1885, smokeless powder was invented. So from that on, 1885 onwards, to talagang nagkaroon na ng massive development of firearms in terms of accuracy, in terms of credibility ng mga barel. So these are the men behind firearms. Number one, si Roger Bacon, siya yung na-credit for the invention of gunpowder in 1248. So Berthold Schwartz naman, siya yung credit for application of gunpowder on 1300. So Horace Smith, siya yung kapartner ni Daniel Wesson doon sa Smith and Wesson na gumawa ng mga revolvers. So technically, sila ay magkahiwalay. Si Horace Smith, ang kanyang ginagawa ay baril na pang patay ng mga whales. So using explosive bullets. And then si Daniel Wesson naman, volcanic rifle. So because of their interest, same lang kasi na ginagamit yung pangpatay ng whale. Because of their interest, so nagkaroon sila ng partnership in the creation or manufacture of revolver. Next, John Moses Browning, wizard or dalubhasa sa lahat ng uri ng baril. So siya ay isang empleyado ng Colt Company, and then siya yung mga nag-imbento ng maraming sistema at mechanism ng baril while he is in the Colt. But then, sabi ko nga, siya ay nagsarili na, kaya nagtayo siya ng sarili niyang gawaan, which is the Remington Rand. So David Williams, so siya yung inventor and maker of the first known carbine. The carbine, kung tawagin natin yan, is the first sniper rifle, caliber 30. Next, Alexander Jan Forsyth. So si Alexander Jan Forsyth, naka-invento siya ng primer or the percussion ignition while he is hunting wild duck, mga patong gubat. So laging nadidelay yung pagputok ng baril niya because of the weather condition. Medyo basa-basa ng konti yung lugar kasi nga sa bukid yan. So kaya niya na-invento yan, yung percussion ignition. Elisa King Root. So si Elisa King Root, designer siya ng mga ginagamit na machineries for Colt firearms. Remington. So si Remington, isa ding empleyado ng Colt pero nagtayo siya ng sarili niyang gawaan ng baril. Sabi nga, he is the oldest gun maker. So Remington. So John Malone Marlin, siya naman ay founder ng Marlin Firearms Company, more on shotguns ang kanilang ginagawa. James Wolfe Repley, siya yung naka-imbento at maker ng Model 1855 rifle musket. Next, Samuel Colt, so founder ng Colt Manufacturing Company. So isa sa pinasikat nila is the 1911 and the revolver. Henry Deringer. So si Henry Deringer, alam niya lahat ng mechanism ng baril. Kaya niyang ipaliwanag lahat ng mechanism ng baril because he gave his name to the whole class of firearm, whether it is a pistol or a rifle. So John Thompson, kilala natin ang Thompson as Tommy gun. So siya ang nakaimbento ng Thompson submachine gun. Yan ay caliber 45. Hiram Maxim, 1858. Siya ang nakagawa ng kauna-unahang automatic na baril. So yan, nakita natin dyan na Maxim machine gun ang tawag natin. Siya rin ang nakaimbento ng first silencer. So Richard Gatling, siya naman ang nakaimbento ng Gatling gun. So yung 6-barreled weapon na kayang magpaputok ng 200 rounds per minute. So Mossberg. So siyempre tagagawa din ng baril, particularly shotgun. So caliber 22 and pump action shotgun. So Mossberg. Since 1919. Fedor Tokarev. So siya ang may pelikula tayong Tokarev. So siya ang nag-design ng pistol for USSR. Carl Walter. So kung kilala nyo si James Bond, yung baril na ginagamit ni James Bond, the Walter PPK. So si Carl Walter ang nag-develop ng mga small caliber automatic pistol. George Luger. So itong nasa left side ko, yan yung na-invento kauna-unahang Luger Parabellum na 9mm. So maraming modification katulad yung ginawa na pelikula ni John Wick. Ito yung Taran Combat Master na 9mm Parabellum din. So ano yan, development na. John Rice, so siya ang nakaimbento naman ng breech loading infantry rifle or the needle gun. Major Cavalli of Sardinia. So siya naman ang nakaimbento ng breech loading artillery. Ibig sabihin, malaki ang bala artillery. Paul Wilhelm Mauser. Siya ang nakaimbento ng parts ng rifle para sa German government. Sergei Mosin. So Mosin ay nag-design ng Russian service rifle. Kijiro Nambu. Siya ay isang Japanese gun designer na nag-produce ng mga parel at pyesa para sa Kyoba factory. So Charles Dorchester and George Sullivan. So Armalite business. So Major Ozil Gal. Yung Uzi, kung tawagin natin, 1950. So next, George Hyde. Siya yung tinatawag natin na grease gun. So caliber 45 din ang bala niyan. AK-47, ang nakaimbento niyan ay si Mikhail Kalashnikov. Kamamatay lang niyan last year. Next, L.C. Smith developed the shotgun bearing his name, now the Ithaca Gun Company. Dati, L.C. Smith, ngayon Ithaca Gun Company na siya. John Garand. So, yung makikita natin na picture dyan, siya si John Garand at siya ay nakaimbento ng caliber 30 M1 Garand. Eugene Stoner, designer of the M16 rifle. Oliver Winchester, siya yung pinaka-earliest rifle and pistol maker. So definition of firearm, RA 10591 ang nagbigay ng konkretong definition ng firearm na ngayon ay sinusunod natin. Sabi nga dyan sa definition, it is a handheld or portable weapon, whether a small arm or light weapon, that expel or is designed to expel bullets, shots, slug, missile, or any projectile which is discharged by means of expansive force of gases from burning gunpowder or other form of combustion of any or similar instrument or implement. So doon muna ako sa first sentence. Nakalagay dyan, light weapon, small arm or light weapon. So yan kasi ang dalawang uri ng baril sa ngayon. So bullet, shot, slug, missile. Pakitandaan, gunpowder or similar implement lamang. Hindi pwede ang gas, hindi pwede ang iba pang implements rather than derivatives of explosives and gunpowder. So kaya yung airsoft hindi siya considered as firearm kasi wala siyang pulbura. Okay? Kaya nga airsoft. So air ginagamit. So for the purpose of the law, barrel, frame, or receiver ay consider as firearm. Kaya nga pag bumili ka ng barrel lamang, kailangan may lisensya ang barrel. Yung frame, kailangan din palisensyahan. Kasi consider siya as complete firearm. So next, legal definition pa rin. Section 877 of Revised Administrative Code and Section 290 of National Internal Revenue Code. So these are enumeration lang din halos ng iba't ibang uri ng barel, but then gunpowder pa rin or other explosives yung concern. So this term also includes air rifles except yung mga ginagamit as toys. So clear pa rin yung definition natin dyan. So barrel of a firearm shall be considered complete for all purposes thereof. Dito sa old definition, pero accepted pa rin naman ito, ginagamit yung barrel, pero yung frame or receiver hindi siya considered. Pero dun sa bago, RA 10591, frame or receiver is considered a complete firearm. Technical definition. So based on the FBI manual, instrument used for the propulsion of projectile by means of expansive force of gases from burning gunpowder. It is any weapon by whether name known is designed to expel projectiles by action of explosives. And lastly, any assembly of a barrel and action from which a projectile is propelled by the product of combustion. So technically, pag sinabing technical definition, ito yung how firearm works, how firearm expel the projectile. So firearm according to barrel construction, smoothbore, ibig sabihin walang riflings inside the barrel. Example nito ay shotgun. Rifle bore firearms, mayroon siyang riflings inside the gun barrel. Example nito, the pistol or rifle. According to projectile propelled artillery, more than 1 inch ang kanyang bala, ang diameter. Kapag small arms, less than 1 inch in diameter. So, according to mechanical constructions, single shot. Ibig sabihin ng single shot, manual ang loading and reloading. Next, repeating arms, ibig sabihin continuous. Pag pumutok ka ng isang beses, hindi mo kailangan ng manual reloading, but rather it will continue to fire as long as may bala pa sa magazine. It's either automatic, full or semi-automatic, and hand-operated repeating arms. So bolt action, so meron siyang bolt. So itong part na ito, yan yung bolt niya, kaya tinawag natin siyang bolt action. So reloading and reloading is through the action of the bolt. Automatic loading type, so ito naman isang press of the trigger, continuous yung operation. So automatic loading type yan. Slide action type or trombone, ito yung mayroong under the forearm of the gun, manipulation or back and forth manipulation, ay diyan yung nangyayari yung loading and unloading, katulad ng shotgun. Lever type, so itong nasa babang ito, malapit sa trigger, ang tawag natin dyan ay lever or brake type. So yung loading and unloading or ejection of cartridge ay dyan nangyayari through the manipulation of the lever or the brake type. According to operation, manual. So as I mentioned, manual lahat. Manual ang pagkarga ng bala, manual ang pagtanggal ng basyo. Lahat yon manual. So technically, from its word manual, so sarili lang na wala siyang automation in terms of operation. So gas operation naman, ito ay gumagamit ng ng gas piston to initiate the loading and unloading. Recoil operated naman, ito naman ay gumagamit ng rearward momentum para matanggal ang basyo at makapagkarga ng basyo na bago or bala na bago. So these are categorized as short recoil and long recoil. So short recoil katulad ng semi-automatic. Sa long recoil, katulad ng mga shotguns, no? Semi-automatic shotguns. Blowback operation, ito naman ay isa mga semi-automatic firearm design para, kaya nga, pag tinabi natin na blowback, ito yung mechanism para mag-auto and semi-auto. So, ang delay blowback katulad ng submachine guns. Simple blowback katulad ng mga sniper rifle. According to functions, automatic, one press of the trigger, diretsong putok. Semi-automatic, one press of the trigger, one round. Single, one trigger pull, single round. And then, palit ng basyo, tanggal ng basyo, lagay ng bala, single operation. Selective, so mayroong options or selector para ma-check natin kung gusto nating automatic or semi-automatic. Next, according to use, hand weapon, gamit ay one hand. Shoulder weapon, hindi pwedeng ipaputok without supporting your shoulder. Next, cruiser. So, dalawa o higit pang tao ang pwedeng magpaputok ng baril. So, according to manner of feed, muzzle feed, so nilalagyan ng bala doon sa dulo. Clip feed, mayroong clip na nilalagay sa bolt, katulad ng M1 Garand. Magazine feed, so mga pistol, at saka yung mga rifles natin, may magazine. So, selective, specific type of firearms, machine gun, rifle, musket, carbine, pistol, revolver, shotgun, mortar, yan. According to RA 10591, there will be 3 categories of firearm. Number 1, small arms. Ang small arms ay lahat ng uri ng baril na walang automatic. Walang automatic. Whether yan ay pistol and revolver. Hindi rin tawag dito, hindi rin magnum. Yan. So, small arms ang tawag natin doon. Pagka naman class A light weapon, so ito yung mayroon ng mga automatic na hindi lalampas ng 7.62 mm ang bala. Pag lumampas ng 7.62, hindi na siya considered as class A light weapon. Mga magnum class A light weapon yan. Pagka class B light weapon, ito yung ino-operate ng 2 tao o higit pa or mas mataas sa 7.62 mm at ginagamit na sa mga anti-tank, tawag doon, air, yung sa mga torpedo, so lahat ng yan. Class B light weapon. Ang pwede na lang magkamero nito ay ang military personnel or police personnel na naka-assign sa Special Action Force. Parts of firearms, according to RA 10591, there are 3 parts. Major, ibig sabihin, major parts or component ay ginagamit ito para pumutok yung baril. Kapag wala nito, hindi puputok ang baril. Major part or components of firearm. Ang minor parts naman, ito ay aside from the major parts, so puputok pa rin ang baril kahit walang minor parts pero nababawasan yung kanyang accuracy. Minor part. Okay? Next, accessories. Ito yung accessories naman, ito yung ginagamit natin to enhance the operational efficiency or accuracy of firearm katulad ng laser, scope, telescopic sight, sound suppressor or silencer. So, ibig sabihin, ito ay nakakadagdag ng performance ng baril. So, there are 3 main parts of firearms such as revolver, pistol, rifle, and shotgun. 3 lang yung basic natin na dapat tandaan. The barrel, the cylinder, the frame sa revolver. Sa pistol naman, barrel, slide, and frame. Sa rifle, barrel assembly, magazine, stock group. So sa shotgun, barrel assembly, magazine assembly, and stock group. So ito naman yung detalyadong mga parts. Pero hindi tayo sa exam, hindi naman tayo magpo-focus sa mga parts talaga kasi nga yung focus natin is more on identification. So hindi naman more on identification of parts kasi yung identification of parts, assembly, disassembly ng barrel ay hindi naman yan ginagawa sa firearms identification. So yan ay ginagawa sa defensive tactics. Ito naman yung parts ng Colt 1911A1, caliber 45. So yan. So ito naman ang double action 44 Magnum, mga parts. So ito naman ang pump action shotgun. So I will be just provide you a video about shotgun, this one.
Shotguns come in all shapes and sizes, so there are many things to consider before purchasing one for the first time. Let's take a look at different types of shotguns with two-time Olympic trap shooter Corey Cogdell. Here we have a few different types of shotguns: a pump action, a semi-automatic action, and a break action. Each type of shotgun has a different purpose. For waterfowl and turkey hunting, Corey uses a semi-automatic. The design of the gas chamber and action aid in a smoother recoil, allowing you to shoot heavier shells to increase hitting power and range. Pump-action shotguns are the most widely known and used shotguns for recreational shooting. With a pump action, the hand grip must be pumped back to eject the cartridge and chamber a new one. With a break action, the barrel or barrels are set on a hinge and break open to allow the loading and unloading of cartridges. A break action with an over-under barrel is more balanced in weight, which allows for an easier and smoother swing for the shooter. For this reason, Corey uses an over-under during competitions. The not as common side-by-side also has a break action and is the most traditional hunting shotgun. Most famously, Annie Oakley shot a side-by-side gun while she was a part of Buffalo Bill Cody's Wild West show in the late 1800s. Depending on your intended use and skill level, understanding different types of actions will help you pick the right shotgun. This has been Firearm Science. See you next time.
Okay, so yan yung shotgun. So maganda naman gamitin ng shotgun. So ito naman yung sa AR-15 sa mga parts. So yan. So just like as I mentioned, hindi naman natin talaga aaralin yung parts ng mga barrel but rather the identification phase. So that's all and magandang hapon.